Junkie Nation, how's it going? Gorgeous George and Goes reporting for duty here, talking to one of our favorites. He is Brendan Loughnane, who is the 2022 featherweight champion over at PFL, and now he's in the 2024 playoffs, meeting Kai Kamaka on August 23rd. They're going to get down at PFL 9. It takes place in Washington, D.C., and you can watch the fights on ESPN. What's going on, Brendan? How are you?
Yes, you just so you know, you two are also my favorites. So yeah,
Thank
just
you.
so you know, let's just clarify that.
Thank you, mate. Means a lot. And hey, let me ask you a question here. We interviewed Graham Boylan, who's Paddy Pimblett's manager,
Yep.
and a random question just came out about the popularity of fighters in England. He mentioned, he went to bat for his guy, Paddy Pimblett. He said he's
Yep.
more popular than the two champions, Leon Edwards and Tom Aspinall. Leon was the current champion when we had this conversation. I wanted to ask you, Brendan, how about you, man? How's your popularity in England? How do you rank against some of the other English fighters as well? Being that you've worn a major belt, you're pretty outgoing, and your fights are damn exciting.
That was a good question. That's a different one. I've been answering the same questions over and over today, so it's nice to get a new one. Good question. So I've noticed a massive difference recently, especially this season. Yeah, like it's PFL's a real thing now, guys. It's catching on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and especially when I'm putting on viral knockouts, it's that last one. I can't remember. Last time I checked, it was on about 8 million views. So like, people are taking note now.
And do you get opportunities, I guess, like sponsorship, documentaries, business opportunities, things like that?
Yeah, I get my fair share of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, here's how I look at it, guys. Yeah, prize fighting pays the bills. That's number one.
Yeah.
All that other stuff is just, it is what it is. Like millions of dollars, they pay the bills, and that's what I'm in this for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I ask only because England's got such a rich history in combat sports, starting with boxing and then slowly migrating over to mixed martial arts. I mean, and aside from that, you guys love your sportsmen, football, sorry, rugby. You know what I mean? Cricket. You guys, and then embracing NFL. NFL started to come over once a year, and that stadium's full.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where my question was from. Was just hopefully because here's what I've always stated, Brendan. You guys train just as hard as the NFL player, the boxer, maybe even harder, man. The way you guys put your body through before you get to go out there and perform and have fun. It's that 6, 8, 10 week grind. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that pays off for you because football players watch MMA and NFL football players watch MMA. You know what I'm saying? Like they think highly of you, not just MMA fans, but other athletes as well.
No, it's a good question. But like, here's how I look at it, guys. I've been thinking about this recently. Yeah, like I get respect off Conor McGregor, Tyson Fury, Rashford. People I actually know and like have trained with or been around. And when I get respect off my peers, people like that, people that I look up to or grew up with, or that's what matters to me. Not like random people on the street or eggs on Twitter. Like none of that actually really matters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
might get a million eggs on Twitter. They don't really care about you. But when your peers, people who you look up to, people who, you aspire to be like, and they're like respecting you, that means more to me than any of that.
One last question here, and then I'll turn it over to Goes. I know he's chomping at the bit. You have a connection with Manchester United. You know some of the players. And that game's getting feisty, man. I've been watching Copa America, the Euros, and then, in the last couple of years, the refs are letting them play. They're pushing their elbow and things like that. Now, I'm not saying go in there and teach them how to fuck people up, but I think if you were to somehow just teach those guys a few basic things so they would have that confidence, don't touch no one. We don't want a red card. We don't want to roll with 9 or 10, but just I don't know if have any of the guys ever picked your brain on that, or if you ever offered it.
Well, it's quite funny you say that. I was actually speaking to Marcus's brother like a week ago, and he's going to start using my nutritionist now, I think. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll link up, start training, whatever that's going to lead to. But I mean, I know what you're saying for sure, and I think all of them guys could benefit from a little bit of wrestling. I know Jesse Lingard wrestled for a while with my wrestling coach back in the day, so a couple of them have done it, and I like the
Yeah,
way you're
there's got to be
thinking.
tricks of the trade when they're lining up for a corner or a free kick or something. Just anything, with getting your hands, underhook, something that the ref can't see, but something that can give you some sort of a leverage. So when the ball's in the air, boom, you just shuck someone and boom, you're headed towards the goal to head it in. I don't know. There's got to be some. The NFL did it. The NFL used to bring guys from Couture's gym, Frank Trigg, I think Randy Couture, and they were teaching linemen certain things having to do with underhooks and hand jostling, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a bit more apparent in that sport than it is in soccer or football.
You
But
fucked up too.
I know, like, I don't know who I'm talking to nowadays. English media, American media. I have different names for different things all over the world now.
Hey, Brendan, we haven't known you anything other than a fighter. You're always, every time we talk to you, you're always either in a fight or preparing a fight. And I think you even shared a story with us one time where you went home for like a holiday, it might have been Christmas or something like that, and left the next day, right? When's the last time you were able to kind of turn it off? Can you turn it off? Can you just forget for a day, a week that you're a fighter and just kind of be Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, Pinedo turned me off. Literally turned me off, and that gave me 10 months away from the sport. It gave me time to really find myself as a human and find out who Brendan was, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time off, and now you're seeing a much more polished, rested Brendan Loughnane coming into this season, and the results are showing.
Let's talk a little bit about ups and downs in the sport. Fighters always have different goals. When they first start, it's all about belts. Then it kind of turns into a little bit of money. It's a little bit of a roller coaster, but I'm sure you've experienced both. Is that just part of the game? Are you always going to strive for legacy, money, belts? Does it all go together, or is it different waves? And where are you at right now?
You guys are coming with some great questions today, by the way.
Thank you.
What is it about for Brendan Loughnane right now? I got the belt. It's right there on my mum's mantelpiece. I got the money. I've invested it well. That side's good. I am purely doing this for the love of martial arts and showing the world my skills and getting up every day and training and doing it until the wheels fall off. Because let's have it right. I'm 34 now. I'm in the twilight of my career and I'm in the last quarter of my career and I want to enjoy every last second of it. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm sure a young Brendan Loughnane was in the room one day with a mixed martial artist, and you probably picked their brain and they probably gave you some pretty good advice. Do you remember the first time where the roles were reversed and somebody came to you and you were able to kind of impart a little bit of your wisdom and what you've learned? And what was that like?
Yeah, that's happened quite a bit recently, to be honest. Especially people like Dakota and Lewis and all these people that are now going through the PFL season, just asking little questions along the way because it is its own thing. It's a really difficult thing to get your head around. Even today, I was working in the local youth club. I started up some free sessions there to try and give back a little while I'm back home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good, man. And PFL chipped in. They funded it as well. So now it's going to be free martial arts for the rest of the year. And hopefully we'll just continue that and hopefully find a few little Brendan Loughnane around the area.
I love hearing stories like that. So let's get the details. So PFL funded what now? It's going to be free martial arts at the local gym, or what's this?
So here's the story, yeah? When I came back to Manchester, I'm not here that often now anymore. I was away in Thailand for 7 months and I just feel like I've been given a lot in my life. I was very grateful. So I was like, look, I want to give something back. I didn't quite know what. And I was like in the local food shop. And then I heard somebody overheard someone talking to somebody about the local youth club, which I used to go to as a kid. Well, not that particular one, but one next door. And I was like, oh. And I was like, and then I got talking. It turns out it was the owner. And I was like, so you own it? She's like, yeah, we have thousands of kids come through every year. Thousands, yeah? So I'm like, okay, cool. I said, do you have any martial arts? She said, no. So I said, well, do you want some? And she's like, of course, I would love you to come in. So I'm like, right. So then I told PFL what I was going to do. And they were like, we'll back it. I called up my sponsor, who sponsored me for gloves and shin pads. They said, we'll back it. They sent 25 sets of gloves. And then I'm on my third session now. Ollie, look, I've just got some content on my Instagram. You can find it. And PFL came and documented it today. And yeah, we're going to now fund it where once a week, my coach is going to go in and he's going to teach martial arts in there when I leave. Because obviously the main concern was, okay, you're going to start it and then you're going to leave again. So I made sure that that's taken care of now. So at least to the end of the year, and then definitely after that, we're going to keep it going some way, shape or form. But yeah, man, I was in there today. I think we had 12 kids and like just watching them have a go and a few natural ones. And it was great. I really enjoyed it.
That's cool, man. Hopefully you pulled some kids off the street from being knuckleheads, or maybe you're mentoring the next world champ. You know what I mean? But you're making a difference in people's lives. And I think that's awesome. I remember a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, somewhere along that line, Leon Edwards was doing a big campaign because I guess there's a big knifing problem. I don't know if it was in just his city or in all England or what. And I thought, I tipped my hat to him as well for bringing a spotlight to that. And then Marcus Rashford, again, someone we've talked about many times. He's got that campaign where he doesn't want any kids in England to not have a lunch at school.
Exactly.
That like really, really is chilling to me. You know what I mean? Like, because you have it nice. Me and my brother have it nice. We're not fat cats and everything, but there's food in that fridge or whatever. Yeah, but there's so many people that struggle with that, and so when you can make a difference in kids' lives, that's just the best.
Well, I hope so. I was thinking, well, what can I do? What can I do? And my main thing that I've been given is martial arts. And if I can pass that on, then that's my calling. PFL backed it. My other sponsors backed it. And we're going to create a little thing. And hopefully it leads to better things and bigger things. And even if we could find one more Brendan Loughnane finding in the local area, we pull him in and we show him how it's done. And you know what? Who knows where this goes, guys, but you've got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. You're planting the seeds. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You said you're 34 and you're in the twilight. Compare it to a football match. What minute are you in your career?
I like it. They've got all the questions today. I'd say, oof, good question. Well, I'm way past halftime, gentlemen. Let's put it that way.
Are you in the 70th minute or?
I'd say 70th. Yeah. We're approaching the 70th. Things are looking good. We're 3-0 up. Things are good.
I like it, man. Especially compared to so many of the games that went to 120 minutes this summer.
There you go.
Man. Did it break your heart? How bad did it break your heart that England came up short against Spain? I was rooting for you guys. I watch Premier League, so I know all of the lads, even though they play against Manchester and some are from Manchester, but they came together. But that passion that the English fan has, I was riding with you guys. But man, that one hurt.
It was so close, though, guys. How close was it? It was so close. So close yet so far, eh? But you know what? Good group of lads, very young lads. World Cup next. Let's go, fellas.
A lot of talent. And I just wish, like 3 years ago, I would have thought Greenwood, Sancho, and Rashford, all three would have been on that team, contributing on behalf of Manchester United. But that team's so deep that none of them got on the
How crazy is that?
On the squad.
Yeah.
And Greenwood's gone for altogether now, right? He's been sold.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that is nuts. I guess they exonerated him through the law, the team's own investigation, but it sounded like the fan backlash was just too strong. And I see Alex Mejeda going through a similar situation here. Some woman accusing him of stuff, and he's pushing back. But yeah, that you guys are high profile, man, pro athletes.
Keep your shit in line, gentlemen.
For sure. Who meets you in the final? Let's finish with that.
I think Timor. I think his wrestling will be too much for Braga, but I've been wrong before. And I actually like Braga. Braga's got a great story, and he's a great lad. Either of them two guys, but let's just concentrate on Kai Kamaka in 2 weeks. Big challenge in front of me as always, but I will rise to it and I will beat him.
Thanks for the time, mate. As always a pleasure. And we'll definitely be tuning in on the 23rd in Washington, D.C. It's PFL 9, the playoffs, folks. Tune in.
Thank you, fellas.